Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something truly transformative. 12 powerful Stoic secrets that will help you perform at your absolute best. Trust me when I say, these aren't just boring old philosophies. They're real practical tools that can completely reshape how you face challenges, handle your work, and even chase your biggest goals. Have you ever felt like life's just throwing way too much at you, and you're struggling to keep your balance? Maybe deadlines, pressure, or self-doubt are dragging you down. Well, what if I told you there's a way to cut through that chaos and focus on what truly matters? Sounds pretty amazing, right? Welcome to the world of Stoicism, a timeless mindset from ancient philosophers that teaches us to focus solely on what we can control and to release everything else. Imagine waking up every day feeling calm, centered, and unstoppable, no matter what surprises life throws at you. In this episode, I'm not just sharing ideas. I'm giving you real-life practical ways to harness ancient Stoic wisdom and level up your mindset, your daily grind, and your entire approach to life. We're going to cover everything, from staying cool under intense pressure to turning failures into powerful stepping stones for your success. And here's the best part. These principles aren't just theoretical, they're immediately actionable. You can start applying them today and notice a real difference in how you think and act. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a thumbs up on this video if you're ready to embrace some timeless wisdom that's guaranteed to make life smoother, more meaningful, and a whole lot more fulfilling. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Focus only on what you can control. Let's kick things off with a fundamental lesson, one of the most powerful Stoic secrets you'll ever hear. Focus only on what you can control. Sounds simple, right? But here's the kicker. It's absolutely life-changing once you start practicing it. Take a moment and ask yourself, how much of your day do you spend worrying about things completely outside your control? Maybe it's the opinions of others, sudden changes in plans, or even things like the weather. We waste so much energy stressing over stuff we can't change, and guess what? It drains us, it distracts us, and it holds us back from being our best selves. The Stoics were crystal clear about this. There are only 3 things truly within your control: your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. Everything else? Out of your hands. Whether someone likes you, whether you get that promotion, or whether the day unfolds exactly as planned, those are outside your control. But how you show up in those moments? That's all you. Picture this. You're working on a huge project at work. You can control how much effort you put in, how well you prepare, and your attitude throughout the process. But what if the outcome isn't what you expected? Maybe your boss doesn't like it, or unexpected events throw a wrench in your plans. Here's the secret. Your response in that moment is what truly defines you. Do you let frustration take over, or do you stay calm? Learn and push forward? By focusing on your own mindset and actions, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. You become more resilient, more productive, and more in tune with your true potential. Picking up where we left off, remember, the heart of Stoicism lies in focusing on what's truly within your control and letting go of the rest. This simple but powerful mindset shift can dramatically reduce stress and transform how you handle life's ups and downs. Now, imagine you've poured your heart and soul into a big project. You've done everything you can, planned carefully, worked hard, and stayed committed. But in the end, the outcome doesn't meet your expectations. Maybe your boss isn't impressed, or external factors beyond your influence affected the results. What would the Stoics say here? They'd remind you that you've done your part. The rest simply isn't up to you. That's the key. When you zero in on what you can actually control, you free yourself from the heavy burden of worrying endlessly about outcomes you can't dictate. This distinction between what's in our control and what isn't is central to Stoic philosophy. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic thinkers, put it simply: some things are up to us and some things are not. Once this clicks, it changes everything. The more you waste your time and energy stressing over the uncontrollable, the more frustration and anxiety you'll carry. But when you focus on your own thoughts, actions, and reactions, the internal realm, you reclaim your power and peace of mind. Stoicism divides life into 2 clear categories: internals and externals. Internals are the things you can influence, Directly. Your mindset, your decisions, your behavior. Externals are everything else. Other people's opinions, unexpected events, even natural forces. The secret? Pour your energy into your internals and consciously release the externals. Sounds straightforward, right? But it takes practice and patience to truly master. Let's bring this to life with a real-world example. Dealing with criticism. Imagine receiving harsh feedback from your boss or a colleague. Your gut reaction might be to get defensive, hurt, or frustrated. But the Stoic approach invites you to pause and reflect. You can't control how someone else feels or what they say, but you can control your response. Will you let their words derail your day, or will you take a calm step back, sift through the feedback, and decide what's constructive and what's just noise? By focusing on your reaction, you maintain clarity and calm, even when the criticism stings. This shift in perspective allows you to grow instead of shrinking under pressure. So how can you start practicing this focus on control in your daily life? Here are some practical steps to guide you. Make a control list. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, grab a pen and paper. Write down what's within your control and what isn't. This simple act helps you clearly direct your energy where it counts. Practice acceptance. If you're stuck in a traffic jam or faced with an unexpected change in plans, remind yourself that resisting reality only makes things harder. Instead, accept what you cannot change and find peace in that acceptance. Reframe challenges. When problems arise, don't see them as disasters. Ask yourself, what can I do right now? This small shift in mindset turns obstacles into opportunities for action and growth. To illustrate how powerful this can be, let's talk about uncertainty. Feeling everyone knows too well. Whether it's a shaky job market, a global pandemic, or personal struggles, life has a way of throwing us curveballs. You can't control these big events, but you absolutely can control your response. Take the pandemic, for example. So many things were out of our hands: lockdowns, job disruptions, health fears. But those who thrived were the ones who stayed focused on what they could control. They adapted their routines, cultivated resilience, and found ways to keep moving forward despite the chaos. By embracing your internals and letting go of the externals, you not only survive tough times, you grow stronger through them. And that, my friends, is the timeless power of Stoicism in action. Continuing smoothly from our last point about focusing on what you can control, let's explore how people who zero in on their internal world, like taking care of their mental health, learning new skills, or finding ways to stay connected with loved ones, often end up feeling much more grounded and less overwhelmed. It's incredible how much peace comes from shifting your energy toward things within your power, rather than being swept away by chaos outside of it. Now, one big stumbling block many of us face is perfectionism. We often fall into the trap of trying to control every tiny detail and insisting that everything must be flawless. But here's the harsh truth. Perfectionism is exhausting, and most of the time, it's focused on things we simply can't control, like how others perceive our work or how perfect the final outcome appears. The Stoics have a refreshing way to break free from this trap. They would tell you to aim for progress, not perfection. Do your absolute best, yes, but accept that some things won't go exactly as planned, and that's perfectly okay. This mindset is incredibly freeing. Imagine the weight lifted off your shoulders when you stop demanding perfection and instead celebrate your effort and growth. For example, picture yourself preparing for a big presentation. Instead of stressing about whether every single word will be perfect or how your audience might react, focus on what you can control: your preparation, your delivery, and your confidence. Once you've done that, let go of worrying about things out of your hands. You showed up, you did your best. That's enough. Why focusing on what you can control helps you thrive? When you truly start concentrating on what's within your control, here's what happens: less stress. You stop wasting precious time and energy stressing about things you can't change. This naturally leads to a calmer, more focused mind, increased productivity. By investing your energy where it counts, on your actions and mindset, you get more done and feel genuinely accomplished. Greater resilience. Life will always throw curveballs, but when you focus on how you respond, rather than obsessing over the problem itself, you become stronger and better equipped to handle setbacks. Peace of mind. Letting go of what you can't control brings a deep sense of freedom and inner peace. Conclusion. Control brings freedom at the end of the day. The Stoics remind us that our true power lies in controlling ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. Everything else, that's up to the universe. And stressing about it won't change a thing. So next time you feel overwhelmed or stressed, pause and ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, then let it go. If the answer is yes, then focus your energy on what you can do right now to move forward. This simple mindset shift will help you feel more in control of your life, reduce stress, and bring a peaceful acceptance of whatever comes your way. Do your best in everything, but let go of the outcome now. Let's dive into something super important. Doing your best, but not getting attached to the outcome. This idea might be a little tough to grasp because naturally we all want good results, right? But the Stoics had a different take. They believed that while you should absolutely give your all in whatever you're doing, you should also, building on what we've discussed about focusing on effort rather than outcomes. It's crucial to understand that the final result isn't always within your control. And honestly, once you fully grasp this concept, it can lift a tremendous weight off your shoulders. Why is letting go of the outcome so important? Think about how much stress comes from worrying about how things will turn out. Whether it's a big work project, a relationship, or even something small like a social media post. We often get obsessed with questions like, will my boss like it? Will I get that promotion? Will people think I'm smart or cool? This kind of thinking can trap us in a cycle of anxiety and frustration because we're pouring all our energy into something we can't fully control. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, taught that your focus should be on what you can control, your effort, your preparation, and your attitude. The outcome, on the other hand, depends on countless factors beyond your influence. Other people's actions, circumstances, timing, and more. Once you internalize this, you can stop stressing about the end result and concentrate instead on giving your absolute best. That's where the true power lies. The Stoic way. Effort over results. The Stoics believed in pursuing excellence in everything you do, but they also accepted that the final outcome is never guaranteed. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Essentially, the Stoic approach is to give 100% to your efforts, but not let your peace or happiness depend on winning or losing. You did your part. That's what truly matters. Imagine you're preparing for a big exam. You study hard, prepare thoroughly, and feel ready. But on test day, something unexpected happens. You didn't sleep well, or the questions are tougher than you imagined. You don't score as well as you hoped. The Stoic response? To accept that you did everything within your control, and that's enough. The grade is now out of your hands, and stressing over it won't change a thing. How to let go of the outcome while still doing your best. Letting go of the outcome doesn't mean you stop caring or stop putting in effort. It means shifting your focus toward the process and away from the result. Here's how you can start doing that. Set process-based goals. Instead of setting goals solely focused on results like, I want to get promoted or I want 100,000 followers, set goals centered on the effort you can control. I will improve my skills, or I will post content consistently. This way, you measure success by what you do, not by what you can't control. Celebrate the effort, not just the result. If you've worked hard on something, give yourself credit for that effort, even if things didn't turn out the way you hoped. Recognizing your commitment fuels motivation and resilience. By embracing this mindset, you free yourself from the chains of anxiety tied to outcomes. You start living more fully in the moment, appreciating the journey rather than fixating on the destination. And that, in itself, is a powerful way to live. Picking up from where we left off about focusing on effort rather than results, it's vital to learn to appreciate the process and not take setbacks personally. Sometimes, even when you've done everything right, things don't go as planned. It's important to remember that outcomes often hinge on factors beyond your control, like timing or other people's decisions. Don't let these uncontrollable elements discourage you from giving your best in the future. Real-life example: job interviews. Imagine you're applying for your dream job. You craft an impressive resume, prepare thoroughly for the interview, and walk in feeling confident. You give it your all, but later you find out you didn't get the job. Naturally, it's easy to feel disappointed or question your self-worth. Here's the Stoic approach. You cannot control the hiring decision, only your effort and preparation. You did your best during the interview, and that's what truly matters. The fact that you didn't get the job could be due to countless unknown factors. Maybe they already had an internal candidate lined up, or perhaps someone else was simply a better fit for their needs. By letting go of the outcome and focusing on your effort, you walk away with confidence, knowing you gave it your all. This mindset leaves you ready and resilient for the next opportunity, instead of feeling crushed by rejection that was never in your hands to begin with. The benefits of letting go of the outcome. When you stop obsessing over results, you'll notice some powerful changes. Less stress and anxiety. You stop worrying about what's beyond your control and focus instead on what you can influence. Your effort. More confidence. Knowing you gave 100% regardless of the outcome builds self-assurance. Improved resilience. When things don't go as planned, you bounce back faster, understanding that setbacks don't reflect your worth or effort. Greater enjoyment. Focusing on the process rather than the outcome makes your work more engaging and enjoyable. You're less trapped by pressure and more present in the moment. Overcoming the fear of failure. Much of the stress around outcomes stems from a deep fear of failure. We fear messing up or falling short of expectations so much that we become paralyzed by the fear itself. But when you stop tying your worth to the outcome, failure becomes less intimidating. You start to see failure for what it truly is. Feedback. It tells you what didn't work, but it doesn't negate the effort you put in. For example, if you start a business that doesn't take off as you hoped, you can either view it as a total failure or as a valuable learning experience. The Stoics would ask, what did you learn? How can you use this to do better next time? By shifting your focus from the end result to the lessons learned, you turn every experience, good or bad, into a stepping stone for growth and improvement. Picking up from our last point about turning failure into a stepping stone, the Stoics encourage us to shift our focus from the outcome to the effort and the lessons learned. When you do that, failure is no longer a dead end, but a powerful opportunity to grow and improve. Conclusion. Focus on effort, not the end result, the end of the day. The Stoics remind us that success isn't just about reaching a certain milestone or hitting a specific goal. It's about the effort we put in, how we handle ourselves along the way, and the lessons we take from each experience. The outcome? More often than not, it's outside of our control. So why waste energy stressing over it? Next time you're working on something important, whether it's a career goal, a relationship, or a personal project, remember this. Give it your all, but don't let the final result define your success. Focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, and let go of everything else. You'll find yourself feeling less pressure, more peace, and ironically, you might even start getting better results because you're not so stressed about them. Practice self-discipline. Every day. Now let's dive into something absolutely crucial: self-discipline, the backbone of doing your best. This skill is what makes everything else possible. Whether you're building a new habit, working toward a goal, or striving to be more consistent in your daily life, self-discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when motivation fades. And, trust me, motivation isn't always going to be there. Why self-discipline matters. So much motivation is fantastic, but it's temporary. One day you might wake up feeling fired up and ready to conquer the world, but the next day, not so much. That's where self-discipline comes in. It's the steady force that carries you through the days when motivation takes a break. Think about this. If you want to get in shape, it's easy to be excited about working out when you first start. But after a few weeks, when the initial thrill wears off and it's just you facing the treadmill at 6 a.m., what keeps you going? Self-discipline. It's that quiet voice in your head reminding you, I committed to this and I'm sticking with it. That's where the magic happens. The Stoic approach to self-discipline. The Stoics were huge advocates for self-discipline. They believed that mastering yourself, your actions, your thoughts, your impulses, was the key to living a good life. It's not about perfection or harsh control, but about cultivating steady, intentional habits that help you stay true to your values and goals. Continuing from where we left off, mastering your actions, thoughts, and impulses is truly the key to living a good life. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said it best. No man is free who is not master of himself. What he meant is that real freedom doesn't come from external circumstances. It comes from controlling your own behavior. When you refuse to let your desires, moods, or situations dictate your actions, you gain true independence. In Stoicism, self-discipline isn't about being harsh or punitive with yourself. It's about having the strength to stick with what matters most, even when the going gets tough. It means showing up, doing the work, and being consistent, whether you feel motivated or not. How to build self-discipline in your daily life. Self-discipline isn't something you develop overnight. Think of it like a muscle that gets stronger the more you exercise it. Here's how to start building self-discipline, even if you feel like you don't have much right now. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to change everything at once. Pick one small habit to focus on. For example, if you want to build a morning routine, start by waking up just 15 minutes earlier and gradually increase from there. Create a routine. Routines are your best friend when it comes to discipline. They remove the guesswork from your day. When you have a routine, you don't have to rely on motivation because the structure keeps you on track automatically. Remove temptations. Make it easier to stay disciplined by eliminating distractions. If you want to be more productive, turn off phone notifications. Trying to eat healthier? Don't keep junk food in the house. Set yourself up for success by controlling your environment. Real life. Example: sticking to a workout. Imagine you've committed to getting in shape. You start strong, hitting the gym regularly, eating better, and keeping on track. But then, life happens. Maybe you're tired after a long day at work, or you just want to relax and binge watch your favorite show instead of sweating it out. This is exactly where self-discipline comes into play. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about reminding yourself of the bigger picture, why you started in the first place. You might not always be motivated, but discipline pushes you forward. Over time, those small, daily actions accumulate into big results. It's consistency, day after day, that makes the real difference. The benefits of self-discipline. When you make self-discipline a habit, a lot of positive changes start to happen. More productivity. You get more done because you're not waiting for the perfect mood or ideal conditions. You simply do the work. Better self-control. The more you practice discipline, the stronger your ability to resist distractions and temptations becomes. Your willpower grows. 3. Increased confidence. Each time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you build trust in your ability to keep promises. This boosts your self-esteem. Long-term success. Whether in your career, fitness, or personal growth, self-discipline is the key to reaching your goals. Success is about showing up consistently, even when it's hard. How to handle setbacks. And stay disciplined. Let's be real. No one is disciplined all the time. You're going to have days when you slip up, miss a workout, or break a habit. That's normal. The key isn't perfection. It's how you respond when you stumble. Would you like me to continue with strategies on managing setbacks and maintaining discipline? It's completely normal to have days where you skip your workout or slip back into old habits. The real key is not letting one bad day turn into a bad week or even a bad month. When you mess up, don't beat yourself up. Instead, Recognize what happened, learn from it, and get right back on track. Think about it like driving a car. If you hit a bump in the road, you don't stop driving. You just adjust and keep moving forward. The same goes for discipline. It's not about being perfect every single day. It's about being consistent. Over time. Dealing with procrastination, one of the biggest enemies of self-discipline is procrastination. You know the feeling. You have something important to do, but instead, you find yourself scrolling through Instagram, watching YouTube videos, or doing absolutely anything but the task at hand. The Stoics would say procrastination is your brain, trying to avoid discomfort. But the more you give into it, the harder it becomes to get things done. So how do you beat it? Here's a simple but powerful trick, the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself you'll only work on the task for 5 minutes. Usually, once you get started, it becomes easier to keep going. Most of the time, the hardest part is simply beginning. Once you take that first step, you'll often find your flow and momentum. Conclusion. Self-discipline is your superpower. Self-discipline is what separates successful people from the rest. It's the skill that makes everything else possible. Whether you're aiming for a big goal, trying to build better habits, or just want to be more consistent day to day, self-discipline is your foundation. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. So next time you're tempted to skip a workout, hit snooze on your alarm, or put off that important task, remember this. It's not about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you want in the long run. By practicing self-discipline, you're building the foundation for long-term success, personal growth, and true freedom. Accept and learn from failure. All right, here's a big one. Failure. Nobody enjoys failing, right? But if you're truly trying to do your best in life, failure is going to be part of the journey. And that's not just okay, it's absolutely necessary. The Stoics saw failure as one of life's greatest teachers. If you can accept failure, learn from it, and keep moving forward, it will propel you toward growth and success in ways that success alone never could. Why failure is key to growth. Most of us were raised to fear failure as something to avoid, a sign that we didn't measure up. But what if we flipped that script? What if failure wasn't the end, but simply a step along the way to improvement? When you fail at something, whether it's a project, a relationship, or a goal, it's not a reflection of your worth or ability. It's feedback. Life's way of saying, here's where you went wrong. Learn from this. Adjust. Keep moving forward. The Stoics didn't fear failure because they understood it's simply part of the process of becoming better. Building on the idea that failure is a vital part of growth, Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very obstacles blocking your path, failures included, can actually become your path forward if you're willing to change your perspective. Embracing failure. Like a Stoic, the Stoics taught that while you can't control whether you fail or succeed, because sometimes things simply don't go your way, you can control how you respond to failure. Epictetus put it plainly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So instead of beating yourself up when things go wrong, use failure as a powerful learning tool. Picture this. You've been working hard toward a promotion at work. You put in the effort, but someone else gets chosen instead. It's natural to feel frustrated, disappointed, or even embarrassed. But the Stoic approach is to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Maybe you discover areas where you can improve your skills. Or perhaps this setback opens a door to a new opportunity you hadn't considered before. The goal is to see failure not as a dead end, but as a stepping stone on your path. How to learn. From failure, embracing failure sounds good in theory, but how do you actually do it? It gets a lot easier with a strategy. Here are some practical ways to turn failure into fuel for growth. Reframe failure as feedback. When things don't go as planned, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Instead of labeling failure as negative, see it as valuable information you can use to improve. Take responsibility, but don't beat yourself up. Acknowledge where things went wrong, but avoid turning it into a personal attack. Failure is an event, not your identity. Separate yourself from the outcome. Remember, your worth isn't tied to anyone. Result: keep trying, but try differently. The Stoics believed in persistence, but also in adaptation. If one approach fails, adjust your strategy, learn what didn't work, and try a different path next time. Real-life example: starting a business. Imagine you've decided to start your own business. You have a great idea, invest time and money, and are ready to make it happen. But things don't go as planned. Maybe the market response is lukewarm, or unexpected challenges pop up. It's easy to label this as a failure, but the Stoic perspective encourages you to dig deeper. Instead of seeing your business as a lost cause, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Perhaps you need to tweak your marketing strategy, or maybe there's a better way to reach your target customers. The key takeaway? Failure isn't the end of your journey, it's just part of it. By learning from what didn't work, you get one step closer to what will. When you stop fearing failure and start embracing it as a natural part of growth, several incredible things begin to happen. You become more resilient. Every time you stumble and rise again, you build mental toughness. Failure doesn't break you, it strengthens you. It's like a muscle that grows stronger with each challenge it faces. You take more risks. Freed from the paralysis of fear, you begin to take bolder, bigger leaps. Failure no longer feels like a catastrophe, but a valuable teacher guiding your way forward. You get better at what you do. Failure provides crucial feedback. Each setback gives insight into what didn't work and how you can improve. Over time, this sharpens your skills and increases your effectiveness. You detach from perfectionism. When you accept failure as part of life, you stop chasing impossible perfection. Instead, your focus shifts to growth, progress, and giving your best effort, even if the outcome isn't flawless. Letting go of the fear of judgment. Many people fear failure because they worry about what others might think. Questions like, will people judge me, or will they think I'm not good enough, can weigh heavily. But here's a core Stoic truth: you cannot control other people's opinions. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. So why stress over what others think, especially when their thoughts are out of your control?" The truth is, most people are so caught up in their own lives that they barely notice your failures. And even if they do, their opinions don't change the fact that failure is a normal, essential part of trying and growing. The sooner you let go of worrying about judgment, the more energy you'll have to focus on learning and improving. Overcoming perfectionism. Perfectionism is one of the biggest obstacles to embracing failure. If you're always trying to be perfect, failure feels like the worst possible outcome. But perfectionism keeps you stuck. The Stoics believed that progress, not perfection, is what truly matters. You don't have to get everything right on the first try, or ever, really. What matters is that you keep learning, improving, and moving forward. For example, if you're learning a new skill like playing the guitar, you'll probably mess up a lot. Instead of getting frustrated or quitting, recognize that every mistake is a step toward improvement. Every wrong note brings you closer to playing the song beautifully. Conclusion: failure is part of the path to success. At the end of the day, failure isn't something to avoid, it's something to embrace. The Stoics knew that failure teaches us some of life's most valuable lessons. It pushes us to grow, adapt, and become stronger. Every time you fail, you get a little bit better, a little bit wiser, and a little closer to success. Building on what we've learned about embracing failure as part of growth. Remember, every setback brings you closer to your goals because you're learning what doesn't work and sharpening what does. So, the next time you face a challenge or disappointment, don't let it crush your spirit. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to improve? Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's an essential part of the journey. Embrace it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Focus on the present moment. Now, let's shift gears to another crucial yet often overlooked secret: focusing on the present moment. In today's fast-paced world, We spend so much time worrying about what's coming next or replaying mistakes from the past that we forget the most important truth. The only time we truly have control over is right now, the present moment. The Stoics believed that the key to living a peaceful and effective life is staying grounded in the here and now. You can't change the past, and you can't predict the future, so why waste energy on either? Why the present moment is everything. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said it best. Confine yourself to the present. Simple advice, yet profoundly powerful. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened yet. All we really have is this moment, right here, right now. When you focus on the present, you stop wasting time and energy worrying about things outside your control, whether it's regrets from the past or anxieties about what might happen down the road. Think about how much time you spend stuck in your own head, stressing about things that haven't even happened, or dwelling on mistakes you can't change. It's exhausting, isn't it? But when you bring your attention back to the present, you free yourself from that unnecessary mental burden. You start to see that the only time you can truly influence your life is this very moment. The Stoic way. Living in the now, the Stoics were pioneers of mindfulness long before it became popular. They taught that we should focus on what's right in front of us and not let our minds wander into too many directions at once. Epictetus said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." What he meant was that much of our stress comes from our thoughts, not from the actual events around us. For example, if you're stressed about a big meeting tomorrow, it's not the meeting itself that's causing your anxiety. It's your thoughts about what might happen. But in this present moment, the meeting doesn't exist yet. Right now, you might just be sitting with a coffee or scrolling through your phone. So why let your mind drag you out of the present and into a future that hasn't happened yet? How to practice. Being present, staying present isn't easy, especially in a world filled with distractions. But like any skill, it gets easier the more you practice. Here are a few practical ways to bring your attention back to the now. Let's dive into some practical ways to bring your attention back to the present moment, especially when your mind starts racing. Get back to the present. Use your senses. One of the simplest and most effective ways to ground yourself in the now is to focus on your senses. What can you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch right this very second? Engaging your senses pulls you out of your head and roots you in the moment. Take deep breaths. When you feel overwhelmed or distracted, take a few slow, deep breaths. Pay close attention to the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. This simple act calms your mind and brings you back to the here and now. Single tasking. In a world that often glorifies multitasking, try doing just one thing at a time. Whether you're eating, working, or having a conversation, give that activity your full attention. You'll likely find you're more engaged and less stressed. Real life. Example, managing stress at work. Imagine you're at work, juggling deadlines, meetings, emails, and all the things that could possibly go wrong. It's easy for your mind to race in a million directions, leaving you overwhelmed. Now, what if instead of stressing over everything at once, you brought your attention back to the present? Focus on the one task right in front of you and take it step by step. The Stoic approach encourages you to concentrate on what you can do right now to move forward. You can't tackle everything simultaneously, but you can handle the present moment. By doing this, you reduce stress and increase your productivity. Why focusing on the present makes life easier. When you start living in the present, you'll notice many things becoming easier. Less stress and anxiety. Most of our stress comes from worrying about the future or regretting the past. Staying present helps you let go of those worries and focus on what's real and actionable right now. Better focus and productivity. When you're fully engaged in what you're doing, you're more focused and efficient. You're not distracted by what happened earlier or what might happen later. You're simply doing what needs to be done now. More enjoyment. The present moment is where life truly happens. When you're focused on now, you start to appreciate the little things. A meaningful conversation, a delicious meal, or even just the feeling of the sun on your skin. Let's continue exploring the power of staying present and how it impacts not just your mindset, but also your relationships and overall life quality. Peaceful walk and improved relationships. Being truly present with the people around you. Really. Listening and engaging can strengthen your relationships in profound ways. People can immediately tell when your attention is genuine. When you're fully there with someone, it builds trust, deepens connection, and makes conversations more meaningful. It's amazing how simply being present can make a huge difference in how you relate to others. Letting go of the past and future. One of the biggest challenges to staying present is letting go of the past and the future. Maybe you've made mistakes, you keep replaying, or you're anxious about what's coming next. The Stoics remind us that we cannot change the past, nor can we predict the future. The only thing we truly have control over is what we do right now. For example, say you're stressing over a conversation you had last week. Perhaps you wish you'd said something differently or handled it better. But that moment is gone. It's over. Instead of playing it repeatedly in your mind, ask yourself, what can I do right now? Maybe you can apologize, clarify your thoughts, or simply choose to move on. Either way, your energy is far better spent focusing on the present than dwelling on the past. How to stay present in everyday life. Being present isn't just something you do during meditation or calm moments. It's a skill you can practice all day long. Whether you're washing dishes, commuting to work, or even just scrolling through your phone, try bringing your attention back to what you're doing. Notice the details. Feel your surroundings. Remind yourself that now is the only time that really exists. For instance, next time you're having a meal, instead of scrolling on your phone or thinking about your to-do list, focus fully on your food. How does it taste? What's the texture? By staying present even in these small moments, life starts to feel richer and more fulfilling. Conclusion. The power of living in the present. The present moment is all we truly have. It's where life happens, where decisions are made, and where we find peace. The Stoics understood that living in the now is the key to reducing stress, staying focused, and discovering joy in the everyday. When you focus on the present, you stop getting caught up in what's already happened or what might happen. Instead, you begin living with intention, clarity, and a deeper sense of calm. So next time you catch yourself worrying about the future or ruminating on the past, gently bring your attention back to the now and experience the power of truly living in the present. If you ever catch yourself trapped in the endless loop of worrying about what others think, it's time for a mindset reset. Think about it. How many times have you held back from doing something you really wanted because you feared judgment? Maybe you avoided trying a new hobby, stayed silent in a meeting, or even dressed a certain way, all because you cared too much about other people's opinions. But here's the truth the Stoics have been shouting across the centuries. Worrying about what others think is like trying to control the wind. You simply can't. It's a complete waste of your precious energy. Marcus Aurelius nailed it when he said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Think about that for a moment. We treasure our own well-being, yet we let the fleeting judgments of others shape our choices, our confidence, and even our happiness. How wild is that? The Stoics challenge us to break free from this trap. They urge us to stop giving away our power by letting other people's opinions dictate how we live. Instead, they invite us to focus fiercely on our own actions, values, and principles, the things we can control. Epictetus gave us a powerful piece of advice. If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Imagine that. To grow, you must be willing to be misunderstood, judged, or even criticized. Because the path to becoming your best self is often unpopular, unconventional, and yes, sometimes lonely. So what does this mean for you? It means living boldly. Doing the right thing because you believe in it, not because you want applause or approval. It means trusting your inner compass, not the noise of external voices. When you focus on your actions and stop obsessing over others' opinions, something incredible happens. You reclaim your freedom. Freedom to express yourself authentically, to pursue your goals relentlessly, and to live a life that's truly yours. Here's a refined, engaging continuation of your content with richer language and flow, making it more captivating. People will always have opinions about your choices, and that's perfectly okay. Their judgments don't define your worth or the value of your actions. For example, imagine you've committed to improving your fitness. You start hitting the gym regularly, but your friends begin teasing you. Why waste your time? You'll never stick with it. If you let their opinions control you, you might quit just to avoid their judgment. But the Stoics would challenge you to stay focused on your goals because what truly matters is your progress, not anyone else's approval. How to stop worrying about what others think. Letting go of the need for approval can feel incredibly tough, especially in a world dominated by social media, where other people's opinions are broadcast everywhere, all the time. But the good news? You can train your mind to focus on your own actions and values, instead of getting caught up in external judgments. Here's how. Remind yourself what's in your control. Other people's opinions? Totally outside your control. Your actions? Completely within your control. When you feel the pull to seek validation, pause and remember. What truly matters is whether you are doing the right thing. Focus on your values. When you have clarity on your personal values and what truly matters to you, tuning out the noise becomes easier. Ask yourself, does this decision align with my values? If yes, keep moving forward, regardless of what others think. Accept. You can't please everyone. No matter what you do, there will always be critics or naysayers. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to win everyone over, focus on being true to yourself. Real-life example. Career choices. Let's say you've always dreamed of switching careers. Perhaps you're in finance now, but your heart belongs to photography. You decide to pursue that passion, but suddenly your family and friends start doubting you. Are you crazy? You can't make a living doing that. It's easy to feel discouraged when those closest to you don't support your dreams. But here's the Stoic mindset. You cannot control their opinions. What you can control is your own dedication, effort, and commitment. If photography lights a fire in your soul and you're ready to put in the work, their doubts don't matter. What truly matters is that you're following your own path, living according to your values, and doing what feels right for you. The benefits of letting go of others' opinions. When you stop caring so much about what others think, your life can transform in amazing ways. More confidence. You stop second-guessing yourself and start trusting your own judgment. Your decisions come from a place of authenticity, not fear. Greater freedom. You live your life on your own terms, free from the chains of constant validation seeking. Deeper focus. Energy that used to go into worrying about approval now gets funneled into what really matters, your growth and happiness. Here's an engaging, polished continuation of your content, keeping it natural and compelling. Benefits of letting go of others' opinions. Continued. More confidence. When you stop constantly worrying about how others will react, you begin to trust your own judgment. You make choices based on your values, not on fear or imagined approval. Greater freedom. Freeing yourself from the pressure to fit in or meet others' expectations means you get to live life on your own terms. You're no longer a prisoner of others' opinions, but the author of your own story. Less stress. Worrying about how people perceive you is exhausting. Letting go of that constant worry lightens your mental load and reduces unnecessary stress. Better relationships. When you're not always seeking approval, you become more authentic. You attract and connect with people who appreciate the real you, not some version bent on pleasing everyone. Dealing with criticism. Let's be honest, no matter how focused you are on your own path, criticism is inevitable. People will always have something to say. The Stoics advise that the key to handling criticism is to separate feedback from your ego. If the criticism is valid, use it as a tool for growth. If it's just negativity or jealousy, let it roll off your back. It doesn't define you. For example, if someone criticizes your work, pause and ask, is there something here I can improve? If yes, great. Make the adjustment and move forward. If it's just unwarranted negativity, remind yourself that their opinion doesn't diminish your effort or your worth. Overcoming the need for validation. Seeking validation is a natural human tendency, but it can easily become a trap. The more you rely on external approval to feel good about yourself, the more you hand over control of your happiness to others. The Stoics encourage finding your validation internally, based on your actions, your values, and your own sense of what's right. For instance, imagine you complete a project but receive no praise or recognition. Does that mean your work wasn't valuable? Absolutely not. The Stoic mindset is to recognize and appreciate your own effort and progress, regardless of whether others notice. When you stop needing validation from others, you become more self-reliant, more secure, and more confident in who you truly are. Conclusion. Stay true to your actions. At the end of the day, what matters most is staying true to your values and actions, not chasing the fleeting approval of others. By focusing on what you can control, your choices, your integrity, your effort, you build a life that's authentic, fulfilling, and free. Understood. Here's a fuller, richer, and more captivating rewrite of that section to make it flow better and really hook your audience. The Stoics remind us that our actions, our choices, are the only things truly within our control. Other people's opinions, those are completely out of our hands, like trying to catch the wind or hold onto a shadow. When you focus on doing what's right, staying true to your deepest values, and relentlessly pursuing your own goals, you stop letting the judgments of others shape your decisions. That's when you unlock real freedom, the kind that comes from living authentically, and real confidence that can't be shaken by outside noise. So the next time you catch yourself tangled in worry about what others might think, pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself this simple yet powerful question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Release that unnecessary burden. Redirect your energy toward what you can control, your actions, your attitude, your integrity. The moment you do, you'll notice a profound shift. Life suddenly feels lighter, clearer, and more fulfilling. Embrace change. It's the only constant now. On to one of the most profound but also challenging lessons from Stoicism. Embracing change. Change isn't some distant possibility. It's happening every second, in every part of your life. Your body changes, your relationships evolve, your career path twists and turns, and even your thoughts and beliefs shift over time. The Stoics taught that resisting change is like trying to swim upstream against a roaring current. It's exhausting, futile, and will only wear you down. Instead, the true wisdom lies in accepting change as the very fabric of life itself. By embracing change with open arms, you reduce your stress, build adaptability, and cultivate the resilience to thrive no matter what storms come your way. Why change is inevitable, and beautiful. Pause for a moment and reflect on how much your life has already changed. Maybe you've moved to a new city, started a completely different career, lost contact with old friends, or picked up new passions you never imagined. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoics, reminded us, the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Change will happen, that's a guarantee. But how you perceive and respond to change is the real game changer. You can either resist and suffer, or accept and grow. Resisting change is a recipe for unnecessary pain. You fight against reality, wishing for things to stay the same when they simply won't. But embracing change is like riding the waves of life with grace and courage. It opens doors to fresh opportunities, new experiences, and deeper growth. The Stoic secret: accept change with grace and wisdom. The Stoics knew that everything is temporary. Epictetus put it simply, it's not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. Think about that. The stress, the anxiety, the discomfort, they don't come from change itself. They come from how we interpret and judge change. What if you shifted your perspective? What if you welcomed change as an essential part of your journey, a chance to learn and evolve. When you accept change gracefully, you don't just survive, you thrive. You develop a resilience that makes you stronger, more adaptable, and more at peace. Embracing change isn't always easy, but it's one of the most empowering gifts you can give yourself. When you stop fighting the inevitable and start flowing with life's natural rhythms, you discover freedom, strength, and even joy in the unexpected. Here's a vivid and engaging rewrite of that passage, crafted to really draw the viewer in and keep them hooked. Think about how you view change. If you see it as something scary or negative, chances are you'll feel anxious, resistant, and maybe even overwhelmed when it shows up. But what if you shifted your perspective and accepted change as a normal, inevitable part of life? Suddenly, you'd handle it with a lot more grace, calmness, and even curiosity. Real-life example. Losing a job. Imagine you're in a job you love, comfortable, familiar, and fulfilling. Then, out of nowhere, the company decides to downsize and your position is cut. It's natural to feel anger, frustration, or trapped in a loop of, why did this happen to me? But here's the Stoic approach. Accept the change for what it is. Focus on what's within your control and start looking for new opportunities. Yes, it's disappointing, but it's also a door opening to something new, something you may never have explored otherwise. How to embrace change instead of fearing. Embracing change isn't always easy, especially when it's sudden or unwelcome. But here are some ways to practice being more adaptable and open to the shifts life throws your way. Accept that change is natural. Change is part of being human. Nothing stays the same forever. When you accept that, it becomes easier to go with the flow instead of fighting the current. Focus on what you can control. When change happens, ask yourself, what's in my control here? Maybe you can't control that a relationship ended or that a promotion slipped away, but you can control how you respond, what you learn, and what your next steps are. Reframe change as opportunity. Instead of seeing change as disruption, try to view it as a chance for growth. Ask yourself, how can I use this change to improve myself or my situation? This shift in mindset helps you spot the silver linings even in tough times. Real-life example. Moving to a new city. Picture this. You have to move to a new city for work. You've built a life where you are, friends, routines, favorite spots, and now you're being uprooted. It's natural to feel nervous or sad about leaving all that behind. But the Stoic way, embrace the change and look forward to what lies ahead. Maybe this move means new experiences, new friendships, and exciting opportunities. When you focus on the possibilities, you open yourself up to adapt and thrive, instead of clinging to what's gone. The benefits of embracing change. When you learn to welcome change rather than fear it, life becomes far more manageable and even exciting. Less stress. You stop wasting energy trying to force things to stay the same. Instead, you flow with life's natural rhythm. More adaptability. You become flexible and open to new experiences, ready to face whatever comes next with confidence. Absolutely. Here's a fuller, more compelling version that fills in the gaps and keeps the energy high, which helps you handle unexpected situations with ease. Greater resilience. Every time you adapt to change, you're not just surviving, you're growing stronger. Each shift builds your mental and emotional toughness, making you more capable of weathering life's storms. This resilience becomes a superpower, helping you face future challenges with calm and confidence. New opportunities. Embracing change doesn't just help you cope, it opens doors you never knew existed. What seems like a setback at first might actually be the beginning of something better. By accepting change, you invite new possibilities into your life, whether that's a fresh career path, new friendships, or personal growth you hadn't imagined. Overcoming the fear of uncertainty. A huge reason people resist change is fear of the unknown. We crave certainty because it feels safe and predictable. But the Stoics teach us a hard truth. Certainty is an illusion. Life is inherently uncertain. No matter how much we try, we can't control the future. Rather than fearing uncertainty, the Stoics urge us to prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally for whatever might come. Epictetus put it simply, difficulties show a person what they are. It's through facing unpredictable situations that we discover our true strength and character. When you face uncertainty head-on, with readiness and calm, you build unshakable confidence in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Letting go of the past. We often struggle with change because we're emotionally tied to the past. Maybe it's a job you loved, a relationship that gave you comfort, or a chapter of your life that felt safe. But clinging to what's gone only creates suffering. The Stoics remind us that everything in life is temporary. Holding on to the past is like trying to hold water in your hands. It slips through no matter how hard you grasp. Instead of getting stuck reminiscing about what used to be, the Stoic approach is to appreciate the past for what it was, but let it go so you can move forward. Think about it. When you dwell on how good things once were, you miss out on the beauty and potential of what's happening right now. Conclusion. Embrace change for a fuller, stronger life. At its core, change is inevitable. It's the one constant in life you can always count on. The Stoics teach us that by accepting and embracing change, we free ourselves from the anxiety of resisting what is. Instead of fearing the unknown or clinging desperately to what's gone, you learn to flow with life's currents, adapting and growing stronger with every twist and turn. So, next time you face a big change, whether expected or sudden, pause, breathe deeply, and remind yourself, change is simply part of life. Focus on what's within your control, your response, your mindset, your next steps. Let go of what you can't control and trust that every change brings new opportunities for growth, resilience, and transformation. Build inner strength. Through adversity. Here's a Stoic truth that might be tough to accept at first. Adversity is your greatest teacher. Life isn't going to be smooth sailing 100% of the time, and the Stoics understood this better than most. Instead of wishing away difficulties or trying to avoid them at all costs, they saw adversity as the very thing that shapes our character, builds resilience, and ultimately makes us stronger. Every challenge, every setback, and every hardship is not just an obstacle. It's a golden opportunity, an opportunity to develop inner strength, gain wisdom, and prove to yourself just how capable and resilient you truly are. The secret lies in how you choose to respond when life gets tough. Why adversity is essential for growth. Nobody enjoys pain, struggle, or failure. We all want life to be easy and straightforward. But think back on your life. When have you grown the most? More often than not, it's during those difficult times, the moments filled with setbacks, heartbreak, or unexpected twists. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said it clearly. The impediment to action advances. Action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This means that the very things blocking your path, those obstacles, those hardships, can actually become your path forward. Growth and progress don't happen by avoiding struggle. They happen through it. The Stoics saw adversity as a test that reveals your true strength and character. It's easy to be calm and confident when everything is going well. But when life throws a curveball, that's your moment to show what you're made of. The more you face adversity head-on, the more your resilience deepens, and the more capable you become at handling whatever comes next. The Stoic way. See adversity as an opportunity. When challenges arise, our first instinct is often to avoid or escape them. But the Stoics offer a radically different perspective. Embrace adversity as a necessary part of your journey. Epictetus taught that difficulties are things that show a person what they are. In other words, the challenges you face aren't just random annoyances. They are essential to discovering your true strength, character, and capacity for growth. This mindset isn't about suffering for suffering's sake. It's about recognizing that the hardships you endure can be powerful teachers if you're willing to learn from them. Real-life example. Handling setbacks at work. Imagine you've poured your energy into a major project for months, and suddenly, it falls apart. Or maybe you miss out on a big opportunity you had your heart set on. The natural reaction might be disappointment, frustration, or even feeling like a failure. But the Stoic approach flips this narrative. Instead of seeing the setback as an end, you view it as a beginning, a chance to reflect, learn, and grow. Ask yourself, what went wrong and why? What lessons can I take from this experience? How can I adjust my approach moving forward? What strengths can I develop through this challenge? By asking these questions, you turn adversity into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. You transform setbacks into powerful fuel for future success. Why this matters more than you think. Building inner strength through adversity isn't just about toughening up. It's about developing emotional intelligence, patience, and wisdom. It helps you understand that setbacks are temporary and manageable, rather than overwhelming and defining. When you consistently face adversity with this mindset, you start to see difficulties not as enemies, but as allies, tools that sharpen your resilience and deepen your understanding of yourself and the world. Practical tips for building inner strength through adversity. Shift your perspective. Remind yourself that adversity is part of life and an opportunity for growth, not a sign of failure. Reflect and learn. After each setback, take time to evaluate what happened and how you can improve. Practice patience. Growth takes time. Allow yourself grace and persistence during hard times. Build a support system. Surround yourself with people who encourage and challenge you to keep growing. Focus on what you can control. You can't change every circumstance, but you can control your reactions and decisions. How to build inner strength in tough times. Facing adversity doesn't mean you have to tough it out by ignoring or suppressing your feelings. The Stoics weren't about bottling up emotions. They were about mastering your response to them. Here's how you can cultivate inner strength when life gets rough. Acknowledge the challenge. The first step is to face adversity head-on. Don't pretend it's not happening or try to avoid it. Recognize the difficulty, accept it as part of the human experience, and commit to dealing with it head-on. Focus on your response. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Zero in on what's within your power, your actions, your attitude, and your mindset. This is where your true strength lives. Learn from the experience. Every tough situation offers a lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn? Whether it's about yourself, your relationships, or your approach to life, there's always insight to be gained from adversity. Real-life example, overcoming financial hardship. Imagine you're going through a difficult financial period. Maybe you lost your job, or debt is piling up. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, discouraged, or even hopeless when money is tight. But this is exactly the kind of situation where you can build extraordinary inner strength. Instead of letting financial stress consume you, adopt the Stoic approach. Focus on what you can control. Can you cut back on non-essential expenses? Could you take on a side gig or freelance work to bring in some extra income? What lessons can you draw from this experience that might help you manage money better in the future? This challenge isn't just about surviving. It's about learning, adapting, and coming out stronger on the other side. The benefits of building inner strength. When you face adversity with the right mindset, you don't just survive, you thrive. Here are some powerful benefits of cultivating inner strength through tough times. Increased resilience. Every challenge you overcome adds to your resilience. You learn you're capable of handling whatever life throws your way, making you stronger for the next hurdle. Greater self-confidence. Each time you conquer difficulty, you build trust in yourself. You start believing in your ability to face challenges head-on, which boosts your confidence. Deeper wisdom. Adversity teaches you valuable lessons about life, relationships, and your own character. You become wiser, more thoughtful, and better equipped to navigate life's complexities. More appreciation for the good times. Going through tough times heightens your appreciation for peace, joy, and success. You learn to savor the good moments because you've truly experienced what it means to struggle. Handling emotional reactions. When adversity strikes, it's completely natural to feel a wave of emotions. Anger, frustration, sadness, fear. The Stoics didn't believe in suppressing these feelings. Instead, they believed in controlling how emotions influence your actions. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This means acknowledging your emotions without letting them run the show. For example, if you feel angry about something that went wrong, don't lash out impulsively. Instead, pause, recognize the anger, and choose a response that aligns with your values and goals. This mindful approach helps you maintain control and act wisely, even in the heat of difficult moments. Why gratitude can make all the difference in how you handle challenges. When life throws tough times your way, it's natural to zero in on the problems. Your mind keeps replaying all the things going wrong. It feels like the whole world is closing in, right? But here's the catch. Constantly dwelling on the negative only fuels your stress and anxiety, making everything feel heavier and more overwhelming. The Stoics offer a powerful antidote: gratitude. Gratitude helps you step back and gain perspective, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said it beautifully. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. In other words, gratitude is about appreciating what you have instead of getting stuck lamenting what you don't. Even in the worst situations, there's always something to be grateful for. It might be your health, the support of a loyal friend, or simply the fact that you're learning and growing from the experience. Gratitude doesn't magically erase problems, but it helps you see that life is still full of good, meaningful things, even amid hardship. The Stoic approach: gratitude in every situation. The Stoics believed gratitude isn't just for the sunny days, it's for every moment, especially the difficult ones. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, made it a daily habit to write in his journal about the things he was thankful for, even as he faced immense pressure, political turmoil, and personal challenges. He understood that focusing on gratitude helped him stay grounded and clear-headed, no matter what was happening around him. Real-life example: finding gratitude in career challenges. Imagine you're in a rough patch at work. Maybe you didn't get the promotion you were hoping for, or you feel stuck in a job that drains your energy. It's easy to spiral into frustration and disappointment. But the Stoic way invites you to pause and ask, what can I still be grateful for here? Maybe it's the fact that you have a steady job when many people are struggling to find work. Or perhaps it's the chance to develop new skills, reflect on your career goals, and think deeply about what truly matters to you. By practicing gratitude, you shift your focus from what you lack to what you have, and that simple change can bring a profound difference to your outlook and resilience. How to practice gratitude. Even when it's hard practicing, gratitude during tough times isn't always easy. Your first reaction might be, how can I be grateful when everything feels so wrong? But like any skill, gratitude gets stronger with practice. Here are some ways to cultivate gratitude, even when the going is tough. Start small. Each day, try to find just one thing you're thankful for. It could be a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or even a moment of quiet. Keep a gratitude journal. Writing down what you appreciate helps train your mind to notice the good amidst the challenges. Reflect on growth. Consider how difficult experiences have helped you learn, adapt, or become stronger. Express thanks. Tell someone you appreciate them. Sharing gratitude can boost your mood and deepen relationships. Practicing gratitude during difficult times isn't about pretending everything is perfect or ignoring your pain. It's about finding small things to appreciate even when life feels heavy and challenging. How to build gratitude into your daily life, no matter what's happening. Start with the basics. When times are tough, it's easy to overlook the simple essentials, but things like a roof over your head, food on the table, clean water, and people who care about you are foundations worth being thankful for. When gratitude feels elusive in bigger areas, begin here. Recognizing these basics can ground you and open the door to appreciating more. Make gratitude a daily habit. Commit to a daily practice of gratitude, whether it's in the morning to set a positive tone for the day or at night to reflect on what went well. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. Maybe it's a smile from a stranger, a good cup of coffee, or a moment of peace. Over time, this rewires your brain to focus more on positivity, building mental resilience even when life is hard. Look for the lesson. Difficult moments often carry hidden lessons. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How is this teaching me patience, strength, or a new perspective? Gratitude doesn't mean you're happy about the difficulty. You're thankful for the growth and wisdom it offers. Real-life example, finding gratitude in loss. Let's say you've recently faced a profound loss, perhaps the end of a meaningful relationship or the passing of someone dear. The pain feels overwhelming and gratitude might feel impossible, but the Stoics would encourage you to reflect on the gift that person or relationship brought to your life. Instead of focusing solely on the sorrow, you can cherish the memories, the love shared, and the ways they helped shape who you are today. For example, if you lost a loved one, practicing gratitude might mean remembering the laughter, support, and life lessons they gave you. This doesn't erase the grief but can bring comfort and peace, knowing their influence lives on within you. The powerful benefits of practicing gratitude. Embracing gratitude, especially during tough times, offers profound benefits for your mind and spirit. Improved mental health. Gratitude reduces feelings of depression, anxiety, and stress by shifting your focus away from negativity. This positive mindset makes hardship more manageable and your emotional landscape more balanced. Greater resilience. When you cultivate gratitude, you develop the ability to spot good even in bad situations. This resilience fuels your ability to bounce back stronger from adversity. Stronger relationships. Gratitude fosters deeper connections. Expressing appreciation for others builds trust, kindness, and intimacy, strengthening your support network when you need it. Most 4. Increased happiness and satisfaction. Regular gratitude practice helps you savor life's pleasures, boosting overall happiness and satisfaction, even amid challenges. How to deepen your gratitude practice. Be specific. Instead of general, "I'm grateful for my family," think more detailed. "I'm grateful for my sister's call today. It lifted my spirits." Specificity makes gratitude more tangible and real. Use visual reminders. Place sticky notes, journals, or photos where you'll see them daily to remind you of things you appreciate. Practice mindful gratitude. When eating, walking, or resting, pause and truly savor the moment. Notice the textures, sounds, smells. Appreciate life's simple gifts. Express gratitude to others. Tell people you appreciate them. This strengthens bonds and creates positive feedback loops of kindness. 4. More optimism. Finding light. Even during difficult times. Gratitude doesn't just help you cope, it actually shifts your entire outlook. When you practice gratitude, you develop a more positive and hopeful mindset. Even when life isn't perfect, you start seeing challenges not just as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. Every small victory, every step forward, becomes something to celebrate and appreciate. Letting go of the negative. One of the hardest parts of practicing gratitude during tough times is letting go of the negative. It's easy to get stuck focusing on what's wrong, what's missing, or what's been lost. But the Stoics remind us that this kind of energy is wasted. You can't change the past, and you often can't control the circumstances you find yourself in, but you can control how you view them. For example, if you're facing financial hardship, it's tempting to focus on what you've lost or what you can't afford. But practicing gratitude means shifting your focus to what you still have: your health, your family, your ability to work hard and improve your situation. By letting go of the negative and focusing on the positive, you create space for hope and new possibilities. Gratitude in daily life. Gratitude isn't just for moments of hardship. It's a practice you can weave into every day, whether the day is smooth or stormy. The Stoics believe that regularly practicing gratitude trains your mind to focus on the good, even when things get tough. So, the next time you feel stressed or frustrated, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what's still good in my life? Maybe it's a supportive friend, a sunny day, or a small accomplishment you just achieved. With consistent practice, gratitude builds a mindset that keeps you positive, resilient, and grounded, no matter what life throws at you. Conclusion: gratitude is a superpower, even in tough times. The Stoics teach us that gratitude isn't just for the good moments, it's for every moment. Even when life is hard, there is always something to be thankful for. Practicing gratitude helps you stay grounded, positive, and resilient. When you focus on what you have, rather than what you don't, you open yourself to a more peaceful, fulfilling life. So next time you face a challenge, pause and reflect. What can I still appreciate? What's still going right? What lessons am I learning? By practicing gratitude, even during difficult times, you'll find that life feels a little lighter, a little brighter, and a lot more meaningful. Control your reactions, not the events. One of the most empowering teachings from Stoicism is the idea that while you cannot control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond. Life is unpredictable. Events beyond your control will occur, things that surprise you, upset you, or throw you off course. But your reaction, your attitude, your mindset, your choices, that's always within your power. Whether it's the behavior of others, random events, or unexpected challenges, you can't always control what happens around you. But the Stoics believe that true inner peace and resilience come from recognizing that while you can't control external events, you can always choose how you react to them. Why your reactions matter. More than the events, the Stoics had a famous saying, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This was a cornerstone of their philosophy. Think about it. Two people can go through the exact same experience, losing a job, facing a personal crisis, and respond in totally different ways. One might spiral into anxiety, anger, or despair, while the other remains calm, focused, and proactive. The difference isn't in the event itself, it's in how each person chooses to respond. You can't always control what life throws your way, but you can control how you deal with it. And that's where your real power lies. The Stoic approach: focus on your inner world. The Stoics taught that the true focus should be on controlling your inner world, your thoughts, emotions, and actions, rather than getting swept up in the chaos of the external world. Epictetus said it best: we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. This idea is incredibly liberating because it puts the power back in your hands. No matter what happens outside, you remain the master of your mind, and that's something no external event can take away. Real-life example. Stuck in traffic. Imagine you're stuck in a traffic jam, running late for an important meeting. You can't control the traffic or make the cars move faster, but you can control whether you sit there fuming, stressed, and anxious, or whether you take a deep breath, accept the situation, and use the time to relax or mentally prepare. The traffic jam is outside your control, but your reaction to it, that's 100% up to you. How to practice controlling your reactions. Learning to control your reactions is a skill that takes time and practice, but it's one that can transform how you experience life. Here are some ways to start focusing on your reactions rather than the events themselves. Pause before reacting. When something triggers you, take a moment before responding. That pause gives you space to choose your reaction instead of reacting impulsively. Pause. Before your emotional response, when something triggers you, take a moment to pause before reacting. This brief pause is powerful. It gives you space to choose. how you want to respond instead of just reacting automatically or emotionally. Ask yourself, is this in my control? Before getting upset about a situation, check if it's something you can actually influence. If the answer is no, shift your focus away from the problem and onto controlling your reaction instead. Reframe the situation when faced with a difficult event. Try reframing it in a more positive or neutral way. Your mindset shapes how you experience challenges. For example, instead of thinking, "This is the worst thing that could happen," try reframing it as, "This is a challenge, but I have the strength and skills to handle it." This shift in perspective can drastically change your emotional experience and help you stay grounded. Real-life example. Handling criticism. Let's say someone gives you harsh feedback at work. Your first instinct might be to get defensive, upset, or even angry, especially if the criticism feels unfair or personal. But the Stoic approach would be to pause and reflect before reacting. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? You can't control the other person's opinion or how they delivered the feedback, but you can control how you respond. Instead of reacting emotionally, choose to calmly evaluate whether there's any truth in the criticism. If there is, great. You've learned something valuable that can help you grow. If there isn't, let it go. Don't let it ruin your day. By managing your reaction, you stay in control of your emotions and your mindset, no matter what others say. The benefits of controlling your reactions. When you learn to control your reactions, you'll start noticing many positive changes in your life, including less stress. You stop getting worked up over things outside your control, which frees your mind and reduces anxiety. Less stress and more peace of mind. When you stop getting worked up about things outside your control, your stress levels drop significantly. 1. This shift brings a sense of calm and inner peace because you're no longer wasting energy on what you can't change. Better relationships. By managing your emotional responses, you're less likely to lash out or let emotions dictate your actions. This leads to healthier, more constructive interactions with others, where communication and understanding can flourish. More resilience. Controlling your reactions builds resilience. You learn to handle setbacks with grace and keep moving forward, no matter what life throws at you. Greater sense of power. Knowing that you can control your reaction to any situation gives you a deep sense of empowerment. Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstances, you realize that you hold the key to how you experience life. Letting go of the need to control everything. One major reason we struggle to control our reactions is because we often feel the need to control everything around us. We want things to go a certain way, and when they don't, frustration and disappointment follow. The Stoics remind us that trying to control the uncontrollable is a losing battle. The more you try to control what's outside your reach, the more stress and disappointment you invite. For example, imagine you're planning a big event and things start to unravel. Maybe the weather doesn't cooperate, or a key participant cancels last minute. You have a choice. Let these things ruin your day, or accept that some factors are simply out of your control and focus on making the best of the situation. By letting go of the need to control everything, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and create space for peace and adaptability. Learning to respond, not react. One of the most powerful ways to control your reactions is to practice responding instead of reacting. This means taking a moment to breathe, assess, and choose your response consciously rather than impulsively reacting out of emotion. 3. Stay humble and avoid ego traps. Let's dive deeper into humility, a foundational Stoic virtue that's often overlooked in today's culture. In a world obsessed with standing out, being recognized, and proving you're the best, it's incredibly easy to let your ego take the wheel. The ego loves to whisper in your ear that you're better, smarter, or more important than others. It convinces you that you don't need anyone's advice, that you're invincible, and that you've already figured everything out. But the Stoics warn us that ego is dangerous. It clouds your judgment, blinds you to your own flaws, and leads you down a path of arrogance and overconfidence, both of which are recipes for failure. Why ego is so dangerous? Ego makes you resistant to feedback and growth. When you believe you're Always right. You stop listening. You miss opportunities to learn, improve, and connect authentically with others. Ego can isolate you, make you defensive, and damage your relationships because it prioritizes your image over truth and humility. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor known for his wisdom, reminded himself daily that he was just one small part of the vast universe, no more special or important than anyone else. This perspective kept his ego in check and allowed him to lead with humility and grace. What humility looks like in practice: humility means recognizing that you don't know everything, and that's okay. You're always learning, growing, and evolving. Others' perspectives and experiences have value, even when they differ from yours. Asking for help or admitting mistakes is a sign of strength, not weakness. Humility keeps you grounded, open, and connected. Real life. Example: overcoming ego in leadership. Imagine you're leading a team at work and a colleague points out a flaw in your plan. Your ego might push you to dismiss their feedback, insisting you know best. But a humble approach means you pause, listen, and consider their perspective. Maybe they see something you missed. Maybe this feedback can improve the entire project. By you. Letting go of ego, you not only make better decisions but also build trust and respect among your team. How to cultivate humility and avoid ego traps. Practice self-awareness. Regularly check in with yourself. Are you being open or defensive? Seek feedback. Invite others' opinions and truly listen to them. Acknowledge your limitations. Embrace what you don't know and be curious. Focus on growth, not image. Let your actions and character speak louder than your ego's voice. Remember your place in the bigger picture. You're one part of a vast world. Humble yourself in that knowledge. Ego is the sneaky voice inside that makes you feel invincible, until reality proves otherwise. The Stoics knew this all too well. Letting your ego take control is a guaranteed way to lose your path. Epictetus famously said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." When your ego convinces you that you have all the answers, you shut the door on growth, learning, and self-improvement. Ego blinds you to your limitations and makes you resistant to feedback. Why ego makes you vulnerable, thinking you're invincible, leads to risky behavior. You might ignore advice, overlook warning signs, or push ahead without caution. This overconfidence sets you up for failure. In contrast, humility keeps you grounded. It opens your mind to feedback, keeps you curious, and helps you acknowledge that there's always room to improve. The Stoic way. Stay grounded in humility. The Stoics believed that no matter how high you rise, humility must be your foundation. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful men as the Emperor of Rome, constantly reminded himself to stay humble. In his journal, he reflected on how fleeting fame and power are, and how even the greatest leaders are human, capable of mistakes and in need of continuous learning. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." For the Stoics, humility wasn't about thinking less of yourself. It was about thinking of yourself less. It meant focusing on what truly matters, your actions, your integrity, your character, not on status, recognition, or approval. How to stay humble and avoid ego. Traps. Cultivating humility is a lifelong journey, especially in a world that pushes us towards self-promotion and ego-driven behavior. Here are some practical ways to stay grounded. Keep learning. Recognize that no matter how much you've achieved or how skilled you are, there's always more to learn. Stay curious, open to new ideas, and ready to grow. Listen more than you talk. Humility often begins with listening. Instead of dominating conversations or always needing to be right, practice truly hearing others. You might discover new perspectives or insights. And even if you don't fully agree, listening shows respect and humility. It signals that you value others' perspectives, which is a cornerstone of true growth. Accept feedback. Gracefully, ego despises feedback because it challenges its self-image, but humility embraces it. When you receive constructive criticism, resist the urge to get defensive. Instead, see it as a valuable opportunity to improve. Even if the feedback stings, it's a stepping stone to becoming a better version of yourself. Real life. Example: avoiding ego in the workplace. Imagine you've just been promoted to manage a team. That new title can easily inflate your ego, making you believe you have all the answers and know best. If you let ego take over, you risk ignoring valuable input from your team, making poor decisions, and creating a toxic work environment where people feel undervalued and unheard. The Stoic approach: stay humble. Understand that being a leader doesn't mean knowing everything. Instead, listen to your team, be open to their ideas, and recognize that learning is a two-way street. Your willingness to learn from others will make you a better leader and earn genuine respect and loyalty. The benefits of staying humble: when you practice humility and keep your ego in check, you unlock numerous benefits that enhance your personal growth, relationships, and overall success. More personal growth. Humility keeps you teachable. When you admit you don't know everything, you open the door to continual learning and self-improvement. Stronger relationships. Humble people attract others. When you stop seeking constant validation, you create space to truly connect and be present with those around you. Better decision-making. Ego clouds judgment and can lead to reckless decisions. Humility helps you stay grounded, weigh different viewpoints, and make wiser choices. Greater resilience. Humility equips you to handle setbacks gracefully. Ego shatters when things go wrong. Humility accepts failure as part of growth and bounces back stronger. Handling praise and success. Staying humble becomes especially challenging when you're riding the wave of success. Whether you've just landed a big promotion, received accolades, or achieved a personal milestone, it's tempting to let pride swell and ego take the reins. But the Stoics warn that success is fleeting and that pride can blind you to your vulnerabilities and the contributions of others. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that fame and power are temporary, and that staying grounded in humility was key to wise leadership. When you receive praise, practice gratitude and remember those who helped you along the way. Use success as fuel to keep learning and serving, rather than as a pedestal to elevate yourself above others. Practical ways to stay humble. Amid success, reflect regularly. Remind yourself of your beginnings and the journey you've taken. Acknowledge others. Celebrate the role others have played in your success. Keep learning. Treat every achievement as a step in ongoing growth, not a final destination. Stay curious. Ask questions, seek feedback, and remain open to new ideas. Major career milestones, public recognition, or reaching a personal goal. These moments can easily inflate your ego. The applause and praise feel intoxicating, and it's natural to feel proud. But the Stoics remind us that success is fleeting and external validation is temporary. What truly matters is staying focused on what's lasting: your values, your character, and your actions. For example, if you've just been publicly recognized for an achievement, enjoy the moment fully, but don't let it redefine your sense of self. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that fame and recognition are transient. He said it's better to keep your eyes on the bigger picture, living a life of integrity, doing your best, and staying true to your principles. Letting go of the need for validation. Another powerful ego trap is the constant craving for validation from others. Whether it's the number of likes on social media, compliments from colleagues, or public accolades, the ego thrives on approval. But the Stoics teach us that true self-worth comes from within. Epictetus wisely observed, "It is the nature of the ignorant to think they are wise, and the nature of the wise to know they are ignorant." This humility to recognize our limits and always seek growth is a hallmark of wisdom. When you release the need for external validation, you break free from the roller coaster of highs and lows that come with others' opinions. Instead, you start focusing on your own journey, your values, and your personal development, regardless of what others think or say. Conclusion: Humility is true strength in a culture obsessed with ego, self-promotion, and instant gratification. The Stoics remind us that humility is real strength. Staying humble keeps you grounded, open to learning, and focused on what truly matters: your integrity, your growth, and your lasting impact. Ego might give you fleeting moments of pride, but humility builds a foundation for long-term success and deep personal fulfillment. So next time you feel the urge to seek validation or act superior, pause and remind yourself: stay humble, stay grounded. When you let go of ego, you open yourself to a life full of deeper meaning, authentic relationships, and continuous growth. You practice patience. Good things take time. Now, let's turn to another essential Stoic virtue often forgotten in today's fast-paced world: patience. In a culture driven by instant gratification, patience can feel like a lost art. Yet the Stoics understood that meaningful growth, true success, and deep wisdom don't happen overnight. They require time, persistence, and steady effort. Patience is not passive waiting. It's active endurance, maintaining your course calmly and steadily, regardless of delays, setbacks, or frustrations. Practice patience. Good things take time. We live in a fast-paced world, a society obsessed with instant gratification. Fast food, same-day delivery, instant messaging, everything is expected now. But the Stoics understood a timeless truth: good things take time. Whether it's achieving personal growth, mastering a skill, building a career, or finding true happiness, the best things in life usually come from consistent effort over time, not quick fixes. Why patience is crucial for success. Think about any major goal or accomplishment in your life. Did it happen overnight? Probably not. Most worthwhile achievements take time, persistence, and above all, patience. Without patience, we get frustrated, give up too soon, or settle for less than what we are truly capable of. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. It requires you to stand firm and be ready for the unexpected." In other words, life is full of challenges, delays, and setbacks. You have to be prepared for the long haul. The Stoic way: endure and stay the course. The Stoics embraced a concept called endurance, which is deeply tied to patience. They believed that enduring hardships and staying committed, even when it's difficult, is what builds strength, resilience, and wisdom. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen." This reminds us that everything worthwhile needs time to develop fully. Real-life example. Fitness goals. Imagine you're working toward a fitness goal, whether it's building muscle, losing weight, or improving endurance. You can't expect to see dramatic results after just a week or even a month. Real progress takes time. Patience is the force that keeps you going, even when results feel slow or invisible. It's what separates those who succeed in the long run from those who give up early. How to cultivate patience in a fast-paced world. We live in a society that's obsessed with speed and instant gratification. Fast food, same-day delivery, instant messaging, all of it fuels our desire for immediate results. Yet the Stoics understood a timeless truth: good things take time. Whether it's personal growth, mastering a new skill, building a meaningful career, or even finding true happiness, the best and most valuable things in life are the result of consistent effort and patience over time, not quick fixes or shortcuts. Why patience is crucial for success. Think about any major accomplishment in your life. Did it happen overnight? Most likely not. Most worthwhile achievements require time, persistence, and especially patience. Without patience, it's easy to get frustrated, give up too soon, or settle for less than your full potential. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. It requires you to stand firm and be ready for the unexpected. Life is filled with challenges, setbacks, and delays. Patience is what allows you to stick with your goals and dreams, even when progress is slow or difficult." The Stoic way: endure and stay the course. The Stoics embraced the virtue of endurance, which goes hand in hand with patience. They believed that true strength and wisdom come from enduring hardships and continuing on your path, no matter how tough things get. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen." This teaches us that everything worthwhile takes time to develop and mature. Real life. Example: building a career. Imagine you're at the start of your career with big ambitions, whether climbing the corporate ladder or launching your own business. It's natural to feel impatient when promotions don't come quickly or your business growth is slower than expected. The Stoic approach is to embrace the long-term journey. Building success requires consistent effort, resilience, and above all, patience. Each day's work, even if it feels small or invisible, builds a foundation for the future. Instead of rushing or getting discouraged by setbacks, focus on what you can control: your attitude, work ethic, and perseverance. Trust that meaningful results will come with time. How to cultivate patience in your daily life. In a world demanding speed, patience can feel like going against the current, but it's a skill that can be developed with intention. Embrace the process. Instead of obsessing over quick results, learn to appreciate the journey. Whether you're learning a new skill or tackling a big project, remind yourself that the process is just as valuable as the outcome. Set long-term goals. Patience is easier when you're working towards something meaningful and bigger than immediate rewards. Align your goals with your values and keep your eyes on the long game. Manage your expectations. Unrealistic expectations fuel frustration. Be honest about the time and effort your goals require and accept that growth rarely happens overnight. The benefits of practicing patience. Developing patience unlocks powerful benefits beyond just achieving goals. Less stress and anxiety. When you let go of the need for instant results, you reduce frustration and cultivate inner peace. Greater resilience. Patience builds mental toughness, helping you stay steady when faced with obstacles. Improved decision-making. With patience, you avoid rash actions and make choices aligned with your long-term vision. Deeper appreciation for progress. Patience helps you savor every small victory and step forward, turning your journey into a source of joy. Overcoming the urge for immediate results. The biggest challenge in cultivating patience today is resisting our culture's push for instant gratification. The temptation to seek quick fixes and immediate validation is strong. Patience. Overcoming the constant urge for instant gratification. We live in a world designed for speed. Fast food, fast internet, fast results. Everything around us encourages immediate gratification, making it harder and harder to wait. But when it comes to the things that truly matter, personal growth, meaningful relationships, lasting success, speed isn't always the answer. The Stoics remind us that the best things in life take time. Whether it's developing a new skill, nurturing a relationship, or building a career, patience is essential. Embrace the slow progress. Take learning a new skill, like playing an instrument. For example, it's easy to get frustrated when progress feels slow or when mistakes keep happening. But the Stoics would encourage you to embrace every small step, each practice session, each error, and every tiny improvement as part of the journey. Instead of rushing to master the skill, focus on the joy of learning and the satisfaction that comes with gradual growth. This mindset transforms practice from a chore into a rewarding experience. Letting go of the need for quick fixes. In today's fast-paced society, we're constantly tempted by shortcuts and quick fixes to solve our problems or accelerate progress. But the Stoics knew that true and lasting growth comes from steady, consistent effort over time. There are no shortcuts to wisdom, genuine success, or personal fulfillment. For instance, if you're working on improving your mental health, It might be tempting to binge self-help books, motivational videos, or seek quick mindfulness hacks. The Stoic approach is different. It's about embracing the daily, ongoing practice of mindfulness, reflection, and self-awareness. There's no instant cure, but with time and patience, real and meaningful change unfolds. Conclusion: patience is the key to long-term success. The Stoics teach us that patience is not just a virtue but a strategy for success. When you learn to embrace the process, stay committed, and let go of the need for immediate results, you set yourself up for long-term growth and fulfillment. Life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, and the most meaningful achievements are those that unfold slowly over time. So, next time impatience creeps in, take a deep breath and remind yourself, good things take time. Trust the process. Stay consistent. Every small step you take, no matter how slow, brings you closer to your goals. You'll find that not only do you achieve more, but you also enjoy the journey so much more along the way. As we've explored throughout this episode, Stoicism isn't just an ancient philosophy. It's a practical, everyday tool that can help you live a better, more fulfilling life. Whether it's learning to focus only on what you can control, embracing failure as a stepping stone to growth, or practicing patience when life doesn't go your way, Stoic principles are designed to keep you grounded, resilient, and focused on becoming the best version of yourself. Living by these Stoic principles isn't about perfection. It's about progress. You don't have to get everything right all the time, and you don't have to be emotionless or indifferent to life's challenges. Stoicism is about learning to master your reactions, control what's within your power, and let go of everything else. It's about recognizing that setbacks, delays, and even failures are all part of the process of growth and improvement. In this episode, we've covered a lot of ground: how focusing only on what you can control frees you from unnecessary stress and worry. Why doing your best in everything but letting go of the outcome is a game changer for your peace of mind. The importance of self-discipline and patience in achieving long-term success. Why failure isn't the end, but a stepping stone to becoming stronger and wiser. How controlling your reactions to life's events puts the power back in your hands. And finally, the value of humility, gratitude, and embracing change as part of life's natural flow. The truth is, life will always throw challenges your way. But with Stoic philosophy, you can learn to face them with courage, calm, and clarity. Instead of being overwhelmed by what you can't control, you'll find yourself focused on what matters most: your actions, your character, and your mindset. That's where your real power lies. If this episode resonated with you and you found these Stoic principles helpful, make sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends and family. Let's spread the wisdom of Stoicism together. And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes where we dive deep into practical ways to apply timeless philosophy to your daily life. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, true strength isn't about controlling everything around you. It's about mastering yourself. When you begin exploring Stoicism, you're not just discovering an ancient philosophy, you're opening a practical and powerful path to transform how you experience life. Stoicism isn't just dry philosophical quotes. It's a tool to help you live better, stress less, and find deeper meaning in every moment. The power of controlling what you can. We often get caught up worrying about things beyond our control: other people's opinions, unexpected events, or the outcome of our efforts. Stoicism teaches that true power lies in focusing all your energy on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. Imagine facing a difficult situation, say a big project at work that goes off track. You can't control sudden changes from clients or external factors, but you can control how you respond, staying positive, preparing for challenges, and refusing to give up. Once you understand and apply this principle, life feels much lighter. Instead of being swept away by negative emotions and disappointment, you become proactive, calm, and effective. Turning failure into a launchpad. One of the most profound lessons from Stoicism is how to view failure, not as an end, but as a stepping stone for growth. Failure doesn't make you a loser. It's honest feedback from life, showing you what went wrong so you can adjust. Think about the times you were rejected, made mistakes, or faced hardship. Though painful, those moments are chances to reflect, learn, and grow stronger. Epictetus said, "The obstacle on the path becomes the path." Challenges are not barriers, but the very things that help you advance. Every time you overcome difficulty, you build inner strength, resilience, and courage, persistence, and discipline. The keys to sustainable progress. Success doesn't come from luck or magic. It comes from persistence and discipline in your daily actions. Stoicism emphasizes self-discipline as the key to maintaining focus and steady progress, especially when motivation fades. Take something simple like fitness. At first you're excited, but after a few weeks, fatigue and temptations appear. Self-discipline is what keeps you going even when you don't feel like it. The same applies in work or any personal goal. Create good habits and stick to them. Stoicism helps you see that just doing a little every day is how lasting success is built. Living in the present. The secret to peace. One of the greatest secrets to living peacefully in Stoicism is to focus on the present. We often get trapped in the past with regrets or in the future with worries. This exhausts our mind and steals joy. Marcus Aurelius stressed, "Confine yourself to the present." When you fully live this moment, you free yourself from needless anxiety and start to savor life more deeply. Practicing this is not easy, especially with distractions everywhere, but through mindfulness, deep breathing, and focusing on what you're doing right now, you can cultivate a slower, richer way of living. Humility and gratitude, foundations of a strong soul to live a fulfilled life. Following Stoic principles, humility and gratitude are essential. Humility lets you see yourself honestly and stay open to learning. Gratitude helps you recognize and appreciate the value in your life, no matter how small. Focusing on what you have rather than what you lack builds an inner calm that isn't shaken by materialism or comparison. An inspiring story, a Stoic journey. Imagine a young person named Min, eager for rapid success. Stressed and frustrated by setbacks, Min discovers Stoicism. Through its teachings, Min learns to control what's controllable, persist daily, and see failure as growth. Over time, Min becomes calmer under pressure, values small progress, and embraces challenges. Freed from chasing external approval, Min focuses on authentic values and finds true meaning. Conclusion. Stoicism. The journey. Back to yourself. Stoicism is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. It's the path to mastering yourself, living with purpose, and finding peace amid life's storms. Applying even small Stoic principles daily gradually builds resilience, sharp wisdom, and a more fulfilling life. If you found value in this journey through Stoicism and want to start applying these timeless principles in your own life, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps us reach more people who can benefit from this wisdom. Share this video with your friends, family, or anyone you know who could use a little more calm, clarity, and strength in their daily life. Let's spread the power of Stoicism together. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an episode where we dive deep into practical, life-changing philosophy you can use every day. Finally, I'd love to hear from you. What Stoic principle resonated most with you today? Or is there a particular challenge you're facing that you'd like to see explored through the lens of Stoicism? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments below. I read every single one. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, true strength comes from mastering yourself, not trying to control the world around you. See you in the next video.